Hey everybody, start your week off right with us on Level Up, Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on the YouTube Fun Astrology channel. We're focusing on bringing prosperity of all kinds into our lives. And to that end, I created a 30-minute meditation to help you open yourself to prosperity. It's one of the biggest reasons we don't attract more into our lives. We block it at the door. Go to hightimelinebooks.com to download your Catherine Ponder Open to Prosperity meditation today. Welcome to the Fun Astrology Podcast for Friday, April 18th. I'm Thomas Miller. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got another big one today. Mars this morning entered Leo. For many of you, it may have been a last night kind of thing because it was at 12:20, just a stroke after midnight Eastern Time. So a lot of you had it happen late last night. Now, I've mentioned that Robert and I recorded an episode on this from his home in Little Rock. It's on the Old Soul New Soul Astrology podcast YouTube channel, and it's also, of course, on the audio. But he took a look at the shadow side, mainly focusing on the fact that as Mars goes back into Leo today, it is opposite Pluto. And yes, that has embedded challenges just in that aspect itself. We'll touch on a couple here in a minute, but also in the chart today is a great big square, and it's connecting the moon and the south node and Jupiter of expansion and all that cluster that we've been talking about sitting right there at the end of Pisces and the beginning of Aries. All of that is in a conflict. So there's tension on one side, and on the other side, we have the great big kite that we've been talking about all week. We have the beautiful trine that we talked about on Wednesday between Mars and all of those Pisces/Aries planets. So while we have challenges, we have great. We have yuck and we have ooh la la. So let's break this down. First of all, Mars went retrograde back on December 6th, and it came out on February 23rd. In the middle of that, on January 6th, is when it went back from Leo into Cancer. Now it's back into Leo. So right there, you see that we have a stepping back into yourself dynamic to this. So you might, like we talked about on Wednesday, you might want to express yourself even more now over the next couple of months while Mars moves through the fire sign of expression, Leo. And there might be some things in your life that could get triggered here around this because it's strongest right now. It's been strong for a couple of weeks. Go figure. And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But there might be some things that come back around in this whole context of this energy. Neptune in Aries, triggering new things. Mars, now in Leo, triggering you to step out in a way that you haven't before. I'm thinking of this as also a little, let's say, booster rocket. Okay, do you ever watch SpaceX land one of their boosters? Or even after they get a rocket up into space, how do they move it around up there? A rocket doesn't have a steering wheel, and space doesn't have an atmosphere. It's very simple. You just change the energetic direction of the object. You can see it so clearly on those SpaceX rockets. You can see those little bursts. Well, that's just a little firing of energy in a particular direction. And that's what we're talking about here. A new little booster, a new little firing of trajectory in a particular direction to move you in that path. And under that energy, for some of you, that's going to be moving yourself in a new direction, particularly spiritually. Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, all of that's combining to bring your spiritual realm and your physical realm together with this little booster kick today, little firing of that rocket to say, let's change our trajectory in this direction. Can you feel that? Now, let's talk for a minute about what we have to, and that is the opposition to Pluto. And I want to look at it through this lens. Pluto is power. Both Mars and Pluto are rulers of Scorpio. Mars before 1930, Pluto after 1930. Double shot of power, transformation, change, remodeling, renovation, etc. Right? So if you think that you are going in one direction, let's say you think that your rocket booster is over here toward this star, but the universe has other plans. Don't resist the universe's plans. Roll with the changes, REO Speedwagon. Keep a loose hand around what direction you might be going. In other words, don't have a power struggle with source itself. You think, oh, I'm struggling within. No, you're struggling against God. So just give it up, right? It's like just let go and let the flow take you where it's supposed to take you. Go back and listen. You'd have to dig it up. It's on YouTube. But Fred Dodson's Stream of Life, I've narrated it several times. It's beautiful for this aspect. So, first of all, don't resist. Second, don't get into a power struggle. And that could be with yourself, or it could be like, let's fractal this. You know what a fractal is? Simply a smaller image of a bigger picture, exactly the same, right? So, what's going on in the macro is the power struggle. You're seeing it play out. And remember, planets are strongest when they're sitting at these changes of signs. So, Neptune is strong, Mars is strong, Pluto is strong. We've got a tariff war, an economic war going on right now. We have the drum beats of other battles going on right now. Okay, now let's fractal that. So we could bring that down to your workplace. Might be in some turmoil right now. Or it could be that there are family struggles, and it might be under your own roof, or it might be in your extended family. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, we could bring it right down to ourselves. So let's recognize it and realize, wait a minute, I don't have to give in to this power struggle. Step aside, let the others have it, let them fight it out. Now, this energy is also having, we've been talking about this, with Neptune in Aries, which of course is ruled by Mars. So see, we've got this whole thing is threaded up together. That's new spiritual leadership, particularly around transformation. So the question here becomes, are you willing to be one of these new spiritual leaders? And in order to transform others, you have to have transformed yourself. I could not have done the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast. When I started it, I had been working on transforming myself 5 years. Many people now try to tell other people how to live their lives when their own are dysfunctional. And I would say to that, under this aspect, turn it off. Don't give your time at all to that. Know that there is a track record of transformation if you're listening to somebody talk about transformation. The other aspect here, the other thing we have to recognize, Mars, Aries, we're talking about spiritual warrior. For some of you, the call is going to be aggressive for a cause that is burning within you, that is a spiritual cause. So don't be afraid of that. If you're being pulled into it, lean in, take some baby steps, right? Pitches to the universe, step into that direction and see what happens. Now our guidance is coming more from action. So let's summarize this up and pull it all together. First of all, it's a time to warm up to these old feelings again. If some things cooled off during that transit since January, if the things this year have been a little bit less, or you get these new little booster effects, then time to fire them back up. Bring multiple ideas to the table. We've talked about that this week. Use that emphasized spiritual guidance to avoid the confusion that Neptune can cause and sort things out by how well you think you can do them. Bring that Mercury side of Virgo that we talked about on Wednesday. If there's a power struggle, take the low road, fix it in your mind right now. Game plan it, game film it. I am going to take the low road. And if there is transformation involved, take the high road. And most importantly, and this is going against the grain a little bit, don't force it. Mars can want to force things. Mostly stay surrendered to the flow, the stream of life, the Pisces, Neptune characteristics. And you step up to the plate, throw a pitch, and let the direction come from the universe. It will show you whether that pitch is a hit or not. All right, I am planning to do Merriman tomorrow, although I'm a little bit going to be chaotic. So if anybody wants to come help me, get on, respond to you can go to the chat bot in the Fun Astrology podcast. You'll have to ask where I am. I still am not saying on here. I'm going to put it in the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, but it's not on here yet. And there's reason for that. But have a great weekend. I hope to be back with Merriman. Maybe a little bit late tomorrow, but hopefully we can get it. And I will see you back on Monday.